And for a perspective, we're joined by Rahul Kaval, Managing Editor. He's live from Washington, D.C. and so is Editor Strategic Affairs, Gaurav Sawant. Very good morning to both of you. All right, it seems to be dark out there, Rahul and Gaurav, but we're trying to get a first perspective from the two of you at the beginning of the day there, really. Let me come to you, Rahul. How's the American media really looking at the dinner last night that was hosted by Obama for Narendra Modi?
Okay. Vedika, I've got the four leading American newspapers, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the USA Today, and the Wall Street Journal. There is not a word about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dinner meeting with American President Obama mentioned anywhere on the front page of any of these four papers. Let's just do it one by one and you will bear with me as I pull these out. There is though a full page ad, if my camera person Kirpal can pull it out. This is in the Wall Street Journal, the US business community. There's Ajay Banga, who's the CEO of MasterCard, whom we interviewed yesterday. His picture with Modi from June 2014. This is a US IBC ad that's been put out. As friends and partners, India and the United States are working together to strengthen ties between the world's two most entrepreneurial and vibrant economies. There is a story in the Washington Post right next to this ad, and this is about Obama seeks Modi as ally on Asia policy. And this story also is not very Rara Modi because it has many references to human rights records. It has many references to, you remember we'd broken the story of 11 congressmen writing a letter to President Obama asking him to take up Modi's track record on human rights and minority rights in his discussion with the Prime Minister today. So it makes references to all of that. It also talks about Modi's speech at the Council for Foreign Relations, where it says Modi asserted that India will challenge China for primacy this century. That's a theme that is quite hot in the United States, of trying to find some way of containing China, and that's something that finds mention in the Washington Post in this two-column story. But remember, as I said, on the front page of the New York Times, there is these stories. You know, they're obviously very concerned about the armed intruder who came to the gate of the White House, got into the East Room. Turns out he came in much closer than was originally reported. Then it talks about the ISIS threat, many missteps in the assessment of the ISIS threat. It talks about the Lehman Brothers bailout. It talks about the big protests in Hong Kong. In fact, there's a lot of coverage of the big protests, people's protests in Hong Kong. It talks about climate change. There's a story of a stray cat and a man who kicked a cat as activists growled. This is the USA Today. Vedika, just bear with me. USA Today, it says Umbrella Revolution opens wide. This is about the Hong Kong clashes bring surge of pro-democracy supporters. Trespasser got as far as East Room. Once again, the trespasser story. Online doctor data questioned. So this is essentially a broad sum up of the various American dailies. The Modi visit not reported very extensively. There is, as I said, a story in the Washington Post buried deep inside one of the main pages, and there are two ads by corporate body houses put out in the Washington Post and in the Wall Street Journal to mark Modi's presence here in Washington. There's also, Vedika, a joint editorial that is supposed to be put out by both leaders in the Washington Post, which Syed Akbaruddin referred to in his press briefing. I was looking at the Washington Post that I have access to. It's not out just yet. Some people, sir, how are you? We're live on TV, sir. It's nice to see you. So we looked at the Washington Post this morning. It's not out just yet. It may be out a little later, but it's not out yet. We've got some people who've joined us. Where have you come from, ma'am?
And what? I'm from Maryland suburbs, Germantown, Maryland. And we are here to see Modi.
Early in the morning, the sun's not out just yet.
We have been up since 4 o'clock. We want
to see the program's been changing. So I saw lots of Indians running around quite confused, wondering where to come because this program's been changing.
Yes, I mean, it's all over the Facebook, so don't worry about it. It's all posted now.
We are so thrilled we are here.
Yeah, we are so excited.
So excited. We love Mr. Modi. So
what is it about Modi that you love?
I just love Mr. Modi.
Like Mr. Modi, you've got a flag of India and the United States here, sir. Which one is dearer to you, India or the US?
I'm Indian American, then American Indian. That tells you all. Yes, we are here. Indians settled in US, 3 million plus. Here to have our Modi ji greeting in New York, Madison Square Garden. And then
What do you think of his trip so far?
his trip had me energized the entire country, world, and all over the Asia. His news all over. Good to have our PM right here. Thank you.
Okay, tell us.
Okay,
We
sir, I'll
need to.
Can you believe I need your autograph?
Okay, I will give you an autograph, but let us just wrap up and take you back to the studios. Vedika, I need to just end this live shot over here because we got some security officials telling us we need to get in for a security sweep. Once we're inside, we will come back live and continue reporting. But for the moment, let me take us back. Let us go back to our studios. Vedika, take it over, please.
Thanks for that, Rahul. We'll keep coming back to you for more. Gaurav Sawant also standing by. Gaurav, it's the last leg and that big meeting scheduled for this morning. What should we be expecting?
Well, after the Kemcho, Mr. Prime Minister, the niceties, now it's time for the substantive dialogue. And this is where India and America will try and take the relationship forward. Reboot Indo-American ties. That's the buzzword here. So after, Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes where just now Rahul Kanwal is, at the Gandhi Memorial, at the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, he'll garland that statue, then to White House. And it's in White House that he has a one-on-one with US President Barack Obama. They give that higher direction. Now, what is high on the agenda? From the Indian side, it's economy. That was in New York. It's strategic relationship between the two countries. It's also, access to critical technology that was so far denied to India. Or that's a hindrance in the way of this relationship moving forward. That will be discussed. Also on the table, Vedika, would be international cooperation on terror, and ISIS is one part of it. Now, in his speech at the Council on Foreign Relations in New York, Prime Minister also said the United States cannot afford to turn a blind eye to its friends sponsoring terror. That could well mean countries in the Middle East. It could well mean Pakistan. Of course, he hasn't mentioned Pakistan by name, but sponsored terror that affects India will also figure in these talks.
And just a word on the Indo-US Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Pact as well, Gaurav. Do we see that also being discussed? Because it's been already a few years since that pact was completed, but it is in troubled waters because of the nuclear liability law.
Well, the fusion on that account, I think still it is on the cards. It is being discussed, but will there be a solution? Will there be forward movement there? That still remains to be seen, because so far all the conversation that has been there in this direction, and we've been speaking to both our sources and of course the government, and they seem to indicate that is still work in progress.
Also, a word on the joint editorial, Gaurav. Are we expecting it later in the day?
Well, that joint editorial was something that everyone was looking forward to, but just as Rahul was mentioning, we looked at the Washington Post. It's not there. It's not in the New York Times, at least in the editions that are out so far. We also looked at the online edition just, till about 5 minutes before we came on this broadcast. It isn't there so far. So is it still being written? Is it supposed to be there later after the substantive dialogue that takes place? That remains to be seen. We're still waiting for more clarity on that joint dialogue. But that vision document that came out after that dinner at White House, which said "Hum chalenge saath saath," the White House vision document. Now, officials we've been in touch with indicate that it's on those lines that India and America, the two biggest democracies, the oldest and the largest democracy, the democracies, they coming together to fight whether it's terror, whether it's poverty, whether it's freer market, all of that, the two countries coming together won't just benefit the people of India and America, but as that White House joint statement said, for the betterment of mankind.
All right, Gaurav, we'll keep coming back to you for more. Well, that is the first perspective this morning that we're getting for you from Washington, D.C. Rahul Kanwal, as well as Rajdeep Sardesai and Gaurav Sawant will be bringing us all the live updates through the evening. Well, Modi's dinner at the White House is being seen as a build-up to his big summit meet with US President Obama tonight, and that is going to be the focus really and the last leg of his visit to America. Expectations are high, especially for the India Inc. from the bilateral meetings between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the US President. During their talks, Obama and Modi are expected to focus on economic growth and cooperation, on security, clean energy, climate change, amongst other issues. They will also address regional concerns. On the last day of the US trip, Prime Minister Modi will first visit Washington Memorials. His bilateral meeting with Obama is scheduled to take place at about 8:30 p.m. India time. US Vice President Joe Biden and Secretary of State John Kerry will then host a lunch for Prime Minister Modi. He is also expected to speak with and meet with the US Speaker. The US-India Business Council will also be hosting a reception for him. After that event, Modi will depart for India.
The approach that the Prime Minister followed in that interaction was that he laid out his vision for economic development in India, and then said that India is open-minded and we want change. And we want change that is not only one-sided. And he said that this was part of his process to engage investors to invest in what he envisages are going to be major and dramatic developments in India's economy during the next few years.
Well, Narendra Modi's US carnival may just be set for a puncture. Some US lawmakers have urged the president to discuss religious freedom and minority rights with Prime Minister Modi when the two meet for the bilateral talks at about 8:30 India time. The letter signed by 11 congressmen cited reports indicating that there has been an increase in violence against Muslims and Christians in the first 100 days of Modi's term as Prime Minister. The congressman wrote that increased violence against Muslims and Christians in India echoes the deadly 2002 riots in Gujarat, which happened while Prime Minister Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. And moments before heading to Washington, D.C., Narendra Modi met former US President Bill Clinton and his wife, and he seemed clearly impressed with the Indian Prime Minister. Bill Clinton told Modi, and I quote, "I am thrilled. No one had the knowledge and votes before you to build a national economy," unquote. Clinton also said that he followed PM Modi's career since Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat and was very impressed with his economic policies. Apart from showering praises on his economic vision, both Hillary and Bill Clinton lauded Modi for taking up the task of cleaning the Ganges. Hillary Clinton said that this step will send a message to others as well in Asia.